Over a decade, I interviewed hundreds of domestic workers, published several reports, and coordinated with migrants and workers groups to push for national and global changes.
In the Philippines, they promised that I have day off, but now I'm here, they don't let me have day off. I cannot sleep. They don't let me have a rest. Yeah, have a food. But how to work without the strength?
They're uniquely isolated and very vulnerable to all kinds of abuse.
The most common complaints were long working hours, low and unpaid wages, lack of rest, and not being allowed out of the workplace.
Social justice was coined by the Jesuit Luigi Tapparelli in the 1840s, based on the teachings of Thomas Aquinas. At the height of the Industrial Revolution in 1891, when Catholic workers were leaning toward the ideas of Marx and socialism to find their dignity and voice, Pope Leo XIII, who studied under Tapparelli, published a letter to the whole Church on the topics of capital and labor. He called it Rerum Novarum.
So it's in that time Leo decides, and this is revolutionary, I'm going to write an encyclical on a social issue. Not a churchy issue, not about this or that, but something that's going on in our world, and he calls it Rerum Novarum. There's a new order of things happening, and it's industrialization. It's the factories.
He stated that society needed to be based on cooperation and not class conflict and unfair competition. The Pope taught that the role of the state is to promote social justice through the protection of basic human rights. For over 100 years since Rerum Novarum, succeeding popes have addressed the issues put forward in this document. He said, "The economy must serve people, not the other way around. People are more important than things. Labor is more important than capital."
And I love this idea that when we work, we are co-creators with God. Or whatever I may do, that my work in that way can be divine. Like I'm contributing, I'm co-creating in the same way that God has created the world. I'm bringing something to the world.
And in this encyclical, which is on labor, he says you have a right to private property. But working people have the right to organize. Working people have a right to have a life and a family. And that's the first time the church ever said that, officially.